Welcome to this rainy edition of Road Warrior. I'm your host, Grant Roberson. Now this week, the rain can't tarnish what we have, and it's the sunshiny appeal of the 2016 Chevy Corvette. Now this is the Stingray edition, and obviously we're going to drop the top on this model. When you look at the exterior of the Corvette, one thing you'll notice right off the bat, well, is the chiseled to perfection like styling. First thing is this huge rear deck lid. We'll get into that in a minute when we swing around to the back. Again, these wide haunches, and this is, of course, the future of Chevrolet when it comes to the Corvette. Now, as you sweep down, nice shelf that really runs down the midline, sweeps out, nice chiseled line, just a hint of curve on this vehicle. Now, when you look at the front end, huge front end, again, combination. What you'll see here is instead of rounding it, nice chiseled edge. And what all that comes down to is a cutting edge like design. Now for this week-long stint, what we did is actually took a road trip all the way across the state, about a 6-hour trip over to the mountains, and we went through the winding hills, and we'll show that in just a minute. But one thing we'll talk about is the grip at the four corners. Now what we have up front, 19-inch wheels, in the back 20. Now what we're actually sitting on is P245s, 35s in the front, P285 30s in the rear. Now what's great about that, nice wide rear stance. Now overall, getting really low to the ground. Now where that came into play is when we went off-road. We actually took this vehicle on a gravel dirt path to see kind of this high altitude vantage. Now what we noticed, a lot of road harshness hitting underneath, but we really actually didn't have any experience, any dings on the side. We took it nice and slow, but this thing did quite well, even off-road. With the rain like it is now, and even during a trip, one thing we noticed is very limited tire slippage. Now, of course, we took it nice and steady, but every now and then we would stomp it. Now, the traction control took over and pretty much kept us on course. Now, looking up here at the front hood, what I like is all the chisel. Again, this nice kind of raised area here, nice vent scoop in the center, nice stylized headlights. Now, let's look a little bit closer at the front end. As we look a bit closer to the front end, one thing you'll see is it dives down here, nice lower fascia, a little bit of chrome. Now there's a little bit of changes for 2016, but what I really like is these nice menacing headlights. LED, of course, really bright and give us a lot of projection going down the road. Now in the mountains, one thing I would like with those nice S-turns is for these to be dynamic, meaning they sweep ahead of you before you enter the curve. Instead, they're pretty much fixed, requiring a lot of brights as we get into the dark areas. Now looking down low, one thing to talk about is the undercarriage. There's going to be a lot of scraping should you get near the curves. Well, one way they fix that is with the front camera. Literally overhangs right here. As you get into those tight spots, it's going to give you a bird's eye view, prevent all the scrapes and dings. By the overall numbers, the Corvette measures in about 176 inches with a decent wheelbase at 106. Looking at the exterior, basically you can tell those wheels are really pushed to the corners, stereotypical racing design. Now as overall height, I'm 6 feet tall, easily falling in well short at around about 4 feet. Even better though, the width pushing just about 6 feet. Anytime you go on a road trip, one thing you want to talk about really is just the cargo. No matter if it's a two-door or an SUV, heck, you got to deliver your items with you. Now what's great is really with the convertible, again, you get that bipolar kind of experience, the open air feel and the coupe-like feeling. Now what's great back here, you still have some cargo to boot. Now what you're going to find is there's no real handle to be expected. Instead, you're going to find on the key fob, just press and hold, it's going to pop up the rear trunk. Now what's great about that is on average, this is going to be about 10 cubic feet of space. Now where that's going to fall in is really right through this whole entire cavernous area. Now what happens when you drop the top though is this little cover actually goes into the space. Now it's going to drop your space into about half because you can't put anything in this area as the top is going to fill that void. But once the top's up, plenty of acreage to go around. Now to close the hatch, it's not that difficult, got a little bit of pressure. One thing you're gonna notice, as it gets close, you lightly press, it's actually gonna retract the rest of the way. So there's no reason to kind of bang this into place, instead just ease it down. One area I like about the trunk is really the amount of space, but also a hidden compartment, and it's right here. Now, one thing we really wanted to do on our trip was keep this vehicle detailed, and what I found is this kind of like a little live well, like you find on a boat. Well, this is a live well for all your detailed items. Pretty much allow you to keep these down, down here, drive up somewhere, polish off the rims, and make it look pretty again. One thing you're going to notice as it gets close, you lightly press, it's actually going to retract the rest of the way. So there's no reason to kind of bang this into place, instead just ease it down. With the rain like it is, typically not going to drop the top, but just to show you what it does, we're going to do it in just a second. Now what's great is you can actually drop this top, of course, when you're not moving. Even better when you're going to speeds up to 30 miles per hour. So that way, if you change your mind, simply press the button, it's going to retract down. Even better, you can do it as you're walking up to the vehicle. Now it takes a little bit of getting used to, whether it's unlocked, locked, whatever, but you simply unlock it, press the button on the key fob, and the operation is going to take over. One thing everybody wants to know about on the Corvette is what's under the hood, so heck, pop it and let them take a look. Now what you're going to see here is the LT1, specifically the small block 6.2 liter V8 engine. That's going to deliver decent horsepower, around about 455 and 460 foot-pounds of torque. Now what that means is 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds, and it is coupled with a 7-speed manual like we had here. Now if you prefer not to do the clutch stance, that's going to be equipped more with an 8-speed automatic, and also will give you a little bit better 0 to 60. Climbing inside the Stingray, one thing you're going to notice is the sport-inspired interior, something to be expected. Now what I like is the fact that it's really enveloping, which could be problematic for some individuals, maybe a little bit on the bigger size, but either way you squeeze in quite well. Now I'm over 6 feet tall, so leg room numbers I always look at, and we had decent up here. But after all, if you are an NBA star, one thing to note is there's only so far back this seat can go. Even though the Vette is performance oriented, one area you want to look to is the entertainment system. Nice huge 8-inch touchscreen system right there on the dash. Now we're in the home setting right here, gives you all the function right there when you need it. Now one area we used quite a bit was the radio system, really tuning in, nice presets down below. Now up above you're going to have some quick sets right up here, really allow you to kind of get to those quick links like the navigation, something we use religiously. Now the part I like is the points of interest. Simply click right here, type in exactly what you're looking for, and it almost does like a Google search and find what you're looking for even if it's not listed. Now go back to home screen, it's going to give you all the functions, really gives you weather, Pandora. A nice feature is the performance display results right here. Now what that allows you to do is do all the timing, all the performance oriented when you're in the right thing. Even you got the video overlay, which means it will actually record you going down the road. Now we didn't really tap into this because I pretty much stayed away from it on our family week-long trip. For climate control, you're going to find typical settings right here. Easy to use, nice fans, AC, seating, heating, nice mode select, nothing's hidden, everything's really nice to select and easy to use. Huge fan speed here and a climate control for the driver. Now if you notice right here, there is no climate control for the passenger. Well, what they did is actually move that over there closer to them so it's easy to use. The gauge cluster is not going to be old school here, but instead a huge LCD screen that is transformable to exactly what you're looking for. Now on the left is the old analog speedometer as a backup, but pretty much have the digital display right there front and center. Now you can toggle this to numerous selections, and even better, instead of looking down at this, there is a heads-up display that gives you about as much information as you need on the windshield. Now when we took our trip across the state, one thing we looked for is economic driving when it came to the fuel, and where we found that is the econo mode. Now what was great about that is it really delivered the fuel economy, averaging somewhere between 25 to 29 miles per gallon. Now if you want the typical default setting, that is going to be the touring mode. That pretty much gives you the best of both worlds. Now we never really got into the sport dynamic mode or the track. Now it's going to give you a lot of that neck snapping fun, something we kind of stayed leery of considering we're in the mountains and we already had enough oomph to go around. Just for an added creature of comfort, one way to get out of this vehicle is not the old pull handle, but instead the press button. Now it's going to electronically release the door and allow you to get in and out. One thing to note, in case of a catastrophic failure, there is a manual pull handle located in front of each door. That does it for this rainy edition of Road Warrior and our test drive behind the wheel of the 2016 Chevy Corvette Stingray Edition. Now it delivers that horsepower you expect, but better yet, that eye candy, especially in that fall colored red, which is what we went to see in the mountains. Now what we liked is the fact that we can deliver room for two, deliver all the stuff that needs to go with it on our road trip, and even better, dropping the top and letting the air flow across our hair. Now as always, I'd like to thank you for watching this edition of Road Warrior. Keep both hands on the wheel and eyes straight ahead.